Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys That Magic. This is Hunter and Shane. Shane, say what's up.
What is up?
It has been a long time, but we are back with the $300 upgrade to Spirit Squadron. We
I'm, s-
apologize that it's so late.
I was gonna say I'm sorry it took me so long. I really just didn't know what to name this deck. That's been the problem. So
Didn't know what to name it?
yeah, I couldn't figure out a cool name for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so without further ado, Shane, tell me how you took $300 and made this deck even better.
Let me get
So,
right into it then, buddy. Right now we're talking about Millicent Restless Revenant. It is a badass spirit that's a 4/4 that costs 7, but it costs 1 less for each spirit you control. Everyone knows about this card. It's fantastic. It also gets to make 1/1 spirits when you attack with other ones, and it's pretty badass. So, okay, we've already got this card out. We've already made the $100 deck list. Now let's dig into the $300 deck list. We're going to make it bigger, badasser, better. The 3Bs. So as you can see on the screen currently, these are the additions and the cuts from the $100 list. We won't go into detail too much on this video. So if you'd like to see all of the cuts and all the reasoning and all the which whats and whatevers, click over on the screen here, wherever we put it, and watch the $100 deck tech. It's pretty juicy, but now we have $300 deck. $300. We have more money, more problems. We're gonna try to make this thing into a mean machine. All right, so what I kind of stuck with for the $300 thing, I wanted to still do the, we're gonna make a bunch of spirits and we're gonna go wide, and we're just gonna overwhelm the board with spirits. But since we have a bigger budget, now I wanted to get more artifacts and enchantments that kind of just anthem effect and pump the shit out of your team. So that's kind of the goal here. A lot of the big boys you couldn't hit in the $100 deck list. So I figured, you know what? More money, bigger threats. So I guess we can go over first. I did have to cut a couple more things, and when I say a couple, I mean like 10 more things out of the list because the things we're adding in are super freaking good, and we just got to cut out some like filler cards we had in there in the first place because they were cheap. If that makes any sense.
yeah. So you're taking out some of the cards from the $100 list.
I'm taking out some from the 100, and then some from the OG, and because the
Okay.
100, we put those in because we were working with the budget. We wanted to keep it, budgety, I guess. So I added some cards that were good, but that just there are better things to be adding now. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of revert that, take them out.
Love the sound
Couple,
effects.
yeah, thank you, thank you. A couple of the things. First of all, we're gonna take out. Again, it's gonna look weird because we're taking out spirits in a spirit deck, but they were just kind of bigger spirits. There's okay. First of all, Anafenza, a really good spirit, but we're gonna take her out. I just don't think that I know for a fact that I can add in artifacts and enchantments that will do more than what she does. Same with Strumgeist. That guy, super cool spirit again, but I want to do instead of he was kind of more of like pile in to make this one guy big, whereas our theme of the deck entirely is make a shitload of guys and make them just wide. So he kind of just didn't really fall in line there. So he's coming out. Jog Skull Reaver, another one that's just like a big beater, getting him out of there. He was in the $100 list. He did very well, but we're gonna go wider. Um, Another one we added in the $100 list, Icon of Ancestry. It's a pretty good anthem effect, but we're gonna have a lot more anthem effects that do more than just that, I guess. So we're gonna take that one out. And then we got Court of Grace. Again, it's an enchantment that does something cool, and it makes the 1/1 spirit that you want, but we're gonna do more anthem effects, and we need to make room for it. And so all 5 of those were things that I previously added in the 100 list that we are gonna now not add. So if you're following along and you added those in the $100 list, I'm sorry. Hopefully you didn't spend more than $5 on these cards. They weren't very expensive, but we're taking them out.
Yeah, they were pretty cheap because obviously they were from the $100 list. So
Right, exactly. And then so we got 5 more that we're gonna actually take out of the base. And that's gonna be Promise of Bunnery. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. Another enchantment. So if you can see a theme here is we're making room for a lot more enchantments and a lot more artifacts. So I tried to stick with removing artifacts and enchantments, just so we don't get the deck too skewed in one direction. And then we got 2 more actually, we have 3 more creatures we're gonna rip out, so ignore everything I just said. But we're getting rid of Boreal Charger. Again, it's a cool card. It's not even a spirit. We'll find cooler things to add instead of that. Uh, Ethereal Investigator. It is a spirit, and it deals with investigating, but it just doesn't quite do it for me. And the things we're gonna be adding are gonna be doing way cooler effects than that. Same with Mentor of the Meek. It's a human. It lets you draw cards when you play 2 or less, which most of your spirits are, but I just don't think it makes the cut. And then last but not least, Haunted Library. Another enchantment that does something. It lets you create the spirits. So it is in flavor of what we're trying to do, but like I said, when we get to the additions, you'll kind of see our strategy of just tons of anthem effects, tons of going wide, tons of beating the shit out of our opponent.
Cool. So overall, 10 extra cards from on top of the $100 list, or technically, because if you're removing these 100 of the top, the 5 we saw from the 100, you're only
Yeah.
removing 5 extra cards from the
True.
list itself.
That's why I did try to stick with I didn't wanna remove even more from the base because I already
Actually,
chopped that a lot. Alright, well, let's just get right to the cool part of what the additions are because this is the exciting thing. Alright, so
do
first
it.
we're just gonna go over the quick there's 2 more spirits I'm gonna add to this deck that I mean, I guess I could have added in the $100 list. They're not like they're not insanely expensive creatures by any means, but I just think that I didn't get around to getting them in. And now we're in the 300, I'm gonna get them in. So we have Selfless Spirit. Most people know about this one. It's a rock star. We already have there's another one that kinda did similar that's in the $100 list. So now we have Redundancy, you know, 2, 2 mana, 1 and a white. Sacrifice it, gain a destructible 10 to turn. That's amazing. So you can save your team if they're gonna be board wiped or anything like that. That's really
Yeah,
exciting.
Selfless Spirit is probably one of the best spirits ever printed.
Yes, I agree. And then another one that's kind of more interaction on the board, Spell Queller. I love Spell Queller. I've played with it in standard back in the day. It's a great card. But it's a 3/1, a white and a blue for a 2/3 flying flash, and you get to basically exile a target spell with mana cost 4 or less. So your opponent plays something, it's got removal, and then you get a body. It's a pretty fantastic spirit. All right, so those are the 2 creatures we got going on. Now we're gonna dive into enchantments, a couple instances, and some artifacts. So I'll go with the enchantments first. We got Anointed Procession, 3 and a white, and this is a really, really good card for any kind of token synergy decks because if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice as many tokens. So now whenever you're creating your spirit tokens, they're doubling. This is a fantastic card. It is a little more expensive, but that's why it's in the $300 deck now. It's amazing. It's like a must-have. And then everyone's favorite, of course, we got Smothering Tithe, 3 and a white. Again, just whenever an opponent draws a card, if they don't pay 2, then you create a treasure, and that's free mana for you. I'm sure everyone knows about how strong this card can get, and it just gives you insane value for what it does.
One of the best white enchantments ever printed, I would say.
I feel like if you're running white and your budget is not super small, this card will be in your deck. And those are just the 2 enchantments that I'm adding. So, from what you just saw, not actual anthem effects. The Anointed Procession, that one is really big for our deck, but Smothering Tithe is more of just kind of like a good value card.
Yeah, it
Uh,
gets you
yeah,
the mana you need quickly.
yeah. So then we're gonna just jump into. I'm gonna add 2 more instants. The first being Teferi's Protection, 2 and a white, and until end of turn, your life total can't change, and you have protection from everything. and all the permanents you control phase out. So once again, if there's any kind of big board wipe or anything happens, it's like your oh shit button, It's like if something were to happen, it's not happening anymore. You're literally not in the game. So that's a great card to have in your deck, especially if you're playing white, which, I mean, yeah. And last but not least, Cyclonic Rift, an amazing board wipe. It's a one-sided board wipe. It's always nice to not have your things die, and I guess Cyclonic Rift doesn't have their things die, but it effectively puts their board back to default.
0. Yeah.
Yeah, you can overload it and make them pick up all their permanents. So that's gonna immediately go into our deck. Okay, so now we'll get on to the meat and the potatoes of everything I've been saying over and over of the Anthem effects, because I've been talking about Anthem effects, and I have not even shown or talked about one Anthem effect yet. So let's start talking about Anthem effects.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Well, the first one, Coat of Arms, fantastic Anthem effect. Each creature gets a 1/1 for every other creature on the battlefield that shares at least one creature type with it. So it kind of sounds confusing by the wording, but if you have 2 spirits, they each get +2/+2. And if you have 5 spirits, they all get +5/+5. Like, it is nuts.
It's so good when it comes to anything tribal.
So if you have a bunch of little spirit tokens, guess what? That's nuts. Great card. Stud. All right, next I'm going to be adding Vanquisher's Banner, another artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Spirits. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. And whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. So it's like, what doesn't this card do? You say spirits, all your spirits are getting buffed. Whenever you play a spirit, you're drawing a card. Like, it's insane. And then the last Anthem effect that we're adding is Door of Destinies. As Door of Destinies enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spirits. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on Door of Destinies. Creatures you control of the chosen type get a 1/1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. Holy shit again. It's crazy. It's super crazy. So whenever you cast your spirits, you're putting counters on Door of Destinies. And so basically your spirits are just going to get insanely huge. And that is all of the Anthem effects we're adding. And then the last but not least, this card is not an Anthem effect, but it's just a super strong deck. It's a super strong just artifact. Urza's Incubator. I'm sure everyone knows about this card as well. When Urza's Incubator enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spirits. Creature spells of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. So now your spirits are practically free. And that's
cheap.
Yeah, nothing else to say about that. It's insane. So with all that, we have our Anthem effects, we have our token doubling, we have our mana generator, we have our board wipes, and we have all of our spirits getting cheaper. It's amazing.
Yeah. Those are very cool that you've added from the 100. And as you see on the screen, we are also throwing up the other cards that he added into the deck. They are from the 100 list. So you've got the creatures. There is a ton of spirits that you're adding, so don't get afraid that he's not adding any spirits.
It's kind of a weird thing. I didn't want to have to go through, and it would basically be a video double this length because I took all the spirits that I added from the 100, kept most of them in. So go back and check out our $100 video. But we're gonna obviously put the deck list. You'll get the whole deck list.
Yeah, the deck list is going to be in the description down below.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm very excited about this deck. I'm gonna build it and hopefully play some good old fair Magic, right?
Yeah, I would love to see you play fair Magic.
Hey, I don't do combos, bro. There's no combos here.
This is very fair Magic. This is straight to the point, spirit tribal. I love this. I'm a tribal player myself, so go out there if you have $300 or you like any of these changes that we're adding or removing, or you don't like it, just leave us a comment. Let us know. Let us know what you think.
I mean,
Maybe we missed a card.
People can always get their own ideas, right? These are just my ideas. Maybe you only like a couple of these. Maybe you only want coat of arms and like a couple pump effects. Dude, take them.
Take them. And with that, do you have anything else to say before we wrap up this video?
Only that spirits are the best tribe in Magic, and that everyone should play Spirits.
All right. Well, hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Follow us on our Twitter and our Instagram. That is @GuysThatMagic. And we will see you in the new year. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New
2022.
Year.
Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Bye.